let's go ahead and get ready to open up with a prayer.
Can somebody else just come?
Elder Mikael, can you go ahead and open us up with prayer?
Heavenly Father, Yahweh, most holy and coming, Elohim, Abraham, Yishak, and Yaakov, we give you thanks and all praise in Yeshua's mighty name, Father, because you are so worthy, Father Yahweh. Heavenly Father, Yahweh, thank you for allowing us to come together, Father, to nickel together, Father Yahweh, to worship you, Father Yahweh. We pray, Father, Yeshua's mighty name, Father, to keep our hearts valued from its far off, Father Yahweh, to receive your word, Father Yahweh. Be able to do your word, Father Yahweh. We ask have mercy upon us, Father Yahweh. For any wicked ways that we have, Father Yahweh, that's unpleasing unto you, Father Yahweh, we pray to help us and give us the chance, Father, and the strength, Father, to be overcomers, Father Yahweh. Because you have sent your Son unto us, Father Yahweh, to try to be overcomers, Father. So we pray, Father, to allow us to be overcomers, Father, in the things of this world. Heavenly Father, we give you our love, Father, our attention, Father Yahweh, our respect, Father Yahweh. And we pray, Father, allow us to be obedient unto your word, Father Yahweh. Heavenly Father, we ask this, your word go across the world, Father Yahweh, the four corners, Father, to reach who we may reach, Father Yahweh, to touch their hearts, Father, so they may be obedient unto you, Father Yahweh, so this word may be published through the world, Father Yahweh. Heavenly Father, we ask, Father Yahweh, to put your words in my brother's mouths, Father Yahweh, so they speak your truth, Father Yahweh. Let it be your ministry, Father Yahweh, not our ministry, Father Yahweh. Give you thanks and praise in Yeshua's holy and mighty name, Father Yahweh. Amen.
Amen, brother.
You know, I was thinking about, like, during the prayer, have a little sign and say open in prayer. So, like, when people see it, they're like, okay, let me just wait. Because then sometimes they look in and don't see nobody. Quiet, opening prayer. Yeah, one of those.
All right, Shabbat Shalom. My name is Yadon Yasharah, my brother Yonatan Yasharah. Shabbat Shalom. And we have today's Shabbat study. And what we're going to try to do more often is we're going to try at least once a month to do more primary classes that deal with more foundation issues for newer people to get caught up to speed, as well as for us that have been in the Word longer to be able to refresh on some of these things and these scriptures and take notes and be able to have good, fresh in our mind, a lot of scriptures that are going to help a lot of new people that don't know things that we have known for years, that have brought us into this truth. As well as we'll have a lot of these classes taped so that we can refer newer people to these classes, or family members that are asking what are we doing or why we believe what we believe. Today's Shabbat study is called Yah's Covenant. Yah's Covenant. And covenant is a promise. It is a contract between two individuals. And we're going to discuss that covenant, how it pertains to us, who we are as a people, most definitely who our Elohim is and his name, how we know his name, and things of that nature. And we'll end up all the way into what happened to us as a people and what is prophesied to happen to us as a people in the future going forward. So we're going to open up in Tehillim, Psalms chapter 68. And we're just going to read verses 1 through 6. And Psalm 68 is one of those chapters where you want to highlight this, because this is giving you the name of the Most High.
Psalms chapter 68. And verse 1. Let Elohim arise, let his enemies be scattered. Let them also that hate him flee before him.
All right, so immediately what people are going to notice is that we're reading out of the King James Bible. I'm using a Schofield King James Bible. Brother Jonathan, he has what's the name of that Bible?
Restoration Study Bible. The
Restoration Study Bible, which will change some of those pagan names out and automatically save you time by putting in the Hebrew name there. But I teach out of the King James because it's the most universal one. Also, I like it because I can go into every single Hebrew word in the New Testament and every Greek word in the New Testament, and I can see what was the original language that it was written in, and look up the definitions. So he's using Elohim because that's the Hebrew that was translated into that Greek English word God. We don't use that word because, first of all, it's taking away from the Most High, because that's a Greek word. That's making it like he's one type of entity, when we understand that he is all that existed into one. There's multiple spirits into one, with one head spirit, which is the Most High. So we use Elohim, which is the Hebrew term, which is a plural. He's not just a one entity type thing. It's multiple entities in one entity that all makes that wholeness of that one entity. So when we see God in the Old Testament, we know that in most cases it was Elohim, or when it's referring to Adonai Elohim, which would be the master Elohim, which would be Yahshua, it's referring to him. But most of the time here it's referring to the Most High, the Spirit, Yahweh of hosts. Go ahead.
Verse 2. As smoke is driven away, so drive them away. As wax melts before the fire, so let the wicked perish at the presence of Elohim. But let the righteous be glad. Let them rejoice before him. Yea, let them exceedingly rejoice. Sing unto Elohim. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rides upon the heavens by his name, Yah, and rejoice before him.
So Psalm 68 and 4, that's one you definitely want to highlight, because this is the name of the Most High. It's telling you point blank, sing unto Elohim, so you know who they're singing to. And it says, sing praises to his name, extol him that rides upon the heavens by his name, Yah. Now it says Jah here. And this is why you have a lot of Jamaicans and Rastafarians say Jah, because that's what it says here in English. But in the Hebrew, we understand the J was pronounced like a Y, Yah. If you go to a 1611 King James Bible, it didn't even have, which is the original King James, the first print of the King James. It didn't have a Jah. It had IAH. Now, how do we pronounce IAH? Well, if you have a question in that, how do you pronounce ISAIAH? Isaiah what?
Yeah.
Jeremiah, Zedekiah, Hezekiah. So we are given an enunciation of IAH. We know it's Yah. And when you pronounce halal Yah in English, hallelujah, we don't say hallelujah because we already understand it's Yah. So this is a very important verse because it's telling you his name point blank, Yah, right here. Go ahead.
Verse 5, a father of the fatherless and a judge of the widows is Elohim in his holy habitation.
So this is saying in verse 4, extol him by his name, Yah. It's telling you to glorify his name, extol his name. So why would I want to take his name away, not use his name, and use a title that can be applied to a man or applied to anybody or applied to whatever group of pagan gods? I want to sanctify him and say, listen, this is the one true living Yah, one true living Elohim. There ain't nothing else out there. So I'm not going to even address any kind of title that would assume that there's others out there when there's not. Go ahead.
Verse 6, Elohim sets the solitary in families. He brings out those which are bound with chains, but the rebellious dwell in a dry land.
And that's what that land looks like right now. Israel's a dry land right now. They got to pump water in there. But this is the difference between Yahweh Elohim and the pagan gods that are made up by man's imagination or taking an angel and trying to make him your God, is that Yahweh sets the solitary in families. He sanctifies, he separates. He don't just grab the whole of the children of Israel and say, all of you, y'all are just great. No, he's saying there's going to be a separation, even in my family, even in the earth, even amongst tribes, there's going to be a separation. He sets the solitary. So he's used to pulling out the people that are going to be his vessels, his special vessels that he chooses, and separating them. So that's part of the character of the Most High. But he does it in a fair way. He doesn't just say, oh, I'm just going to be biased because I like this person. No, he's going to do this based upon your obedience to righteousness. So we have to keep that mind frame. Yahweh is not a everybody come. We deal with everybody. He's no, I separate, I sanctify, I set the solitary in families. So let's go to Amos chapter 3, and you're going to see even amongst all the nations in the earth, he has set the solitary in the families of the earth and said, look, I'm pulling out one family out of all the earth. You can help Mama find Amos. Amos chapter 3.
Amos before Micah, after Daniel and Hosea. Amos chapter 3 and verse 1. Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Yasharal, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mitzrayim, Egypt, saying.
All right, so we know that this is Yahweh here speaking. Now it says the Lord here, but this is originally Yahweh. And if you have a study Bible, in most old Bibles, if you look in the beginning of the Bible or the appendix, it will tell you the changes that they've made in the Bible. It'll tell you that they literally removed Yahweh's name out of the Bible every time you see the Lord in all caps, and they replaced it with that title, the Lord. And they'll tell you, even have notes of telling you, well, the name was too holy to be said. Well, that's contradicting what Psalm says right here. It tells you point blank, extol him by his name. So that's somebody else's doctrine saying that. Nowhere in here does it says, don't mention his name. Don't ever say his name. It don't say that in there. That's somebody else's doctrine. But I'm going to read a note real quick here in the study Bible that talks about how they changed his name. And this is in the Schofield Study Bible. It says, names of deity, Lord. So the first thing it says Hebrew Yahweh, YHWH. That's where they literally took the Hebrew letters that were Yah's name, and they just translated it or transliterated it to English letters, which is not quite accurate, but it's close enough. So they put YHWH, which is called the Tetragrammaton. And then it says the primary meaning of the name Lord, perhaps pronounced Yahweh. Then it says in English, Jehovah. Doesn't make any sense. How do you get Jehovah from Yahweh? If your name is Michael, I don't care what language you speak, at the end of the day, it's going to be Michael. Blah, 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 Michael. It's an enunciation. Enunciation don't change. Now, somebody else might have what your name means in another language. That's different. That's a translation. But at the end of the day, if your name is Michael, it's Michael. Period. So all of a sudden, they got this Jehovah in there. And if we look at the word Jehovah in Hebrew, Hova, H1943, means ruin and destruction, mischief. So they've replaced Yahweh's name with Lord and with Jehovah. But it'll tell you right here, his Hebrew name was Yahweh. So Hebrews especially are going to want to call him by their own culture, their own name, Yahweh.
Do you have a definition of extol?
Extol?
Yeah.
In Psalms? Let me go back.
H5549.
That's Salal. Salal was H5549, spelled S-A-L-A-L. And that's a primitive root to mound up, especially a turnpike, figuratively to exalt, reflexively to oppose as by damn, cast up, exalt, extol, make plain, raise up. So put this up, let it be known. Extol his name, exalt it, put it above everything else. So that means it can't have a title above his name, because then it's not exalted. Then it's being brought down low, it's being humbled. That's not what we're supposed to be, brought down low and humbled. Not him, we're supposed to raise him up. So this is why we say his name. And we don't allow somebody else that is not our culture to tell us that we're not supposed to extol his name, when we have direct instructions in here to extol his name. You have something, Elder?
Yeah, did you call it on this?
You got to take it off mute.
Yeah, I just wanted to, you brought that up to me because as you read those verses with Psalms and Amos, and I'm glad you read the definition and how man has in certain Bibles taken out the word Yahweh and added Lord, capital, and Lord, and God, capital, and God, Lord.
Right.
That it also says in Psalms that, Psalms 8, 68, and 11, and Yahweh gave the word. And we know later we found out that the word is his son. The word
Right.
does not come back void from his mouth. Has to go and do what he said to do. And we deal that in Genesis also in Bereshit. He says, great was the company of those that published it.
Published
So he's
right.
trying to say his children, his Israel children, his children that he and Amos said that was his family. That's the one he made covenant with. That's the one he's going to deal with because of our iniquities. Said that we are supposed to publish his word.
Right.
So if we're publishing a pseudo meaning of his word, how are we publishing his word?
We're not. Right.
That's right, we're not. So I just want to bring that point up that this is why, we use the word Yahweh, to try and let everybody understand who we are speaking to, and then who is speaking to us. The same as we use Yeshua, our Messiah, who has spoken this word, who is the word, and does exactly what his father says out of obedience and love of his father for the love of Yahweh's children.
Right.
So this is why, I'm bringing this point up, that it makes a statement that says that Yahweh, he loves the children that publish his word.
Right. Right. We're at Amos chapter 3. Start that back over at verse 1.
Hear this word that Yahweh has spoken against you, O children of Yasharal, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Mitzrayim, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities.
All right. So Amos chapter 3, you'll almost never hear that in church. They will almost never read this. A lot of people didn't even know Amos was a book in the Bible because they won't read this. It says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth. So every single family of the earth, you are the only one that I know, Israel. You're the only one. So that's, great. We can stop right there. Excellent. He knows us. Yes. We should wave the flag. We Israel. He don't know y'all. But then he goes, therefore will I punish you for all your iniquities. Not some, all of your iniquities. I'm going to punish you. So that's what comes with me knowing you. That shows you the type of Elohim that Yah is. He's not the same Elohim that they call God. That's different. That God bless you. He don't care. That God sent Jesus that he died so you can do whatever you want to do. That's not the same. That's somebody that was made up in their mind. That's not the same of the God that's in this Bible. Yah, that has a name, that has a people that he associated with, that has a nationality that he gave, that he pulled one group of people out the earth and gave them a nationality, a small group of people. Go ahead, brother.
I'm going to add to that too. All I wanted to add to that, brother, was, why is this so special that, he only called one nation? It's not that they're so special. There was a least among them. The problem was that he chose them. He put his eye on them. He chose them to make himself great. Because if you chose a nation that was already powerful, how can you give Yahweh his glory?
Right.
When you're saying, that nation is already powerful. Look at the strong men they have. Look at the amount of weapons that they have. Look how well trained they are. Look how well disciplined they are. Look how much money that they have. You understand? Yes, they're world conquerors. But if you have a nation of people who are not great, then it shows the magnitude of the Father when great things happen from those people because they learn who they worship. Because the world knows that Mitzrayim was destroyed by, which is Egypt, destroyed by Yahweh. You understand? The children of Israel had nothing to do with that. They didn't lift one finger to fight. They were slaves when Yahweh came to send to deliver them. And he dealt with Pharaoh. And he also dealt with Pharaoh's army at the Red Sea. So the people had no power here. If you want to talk about power, only power they have is obedience unto the Father. Yahweh said he was going to make the world know him by us, by his children. So, and I wish people that don't have in their minds, be so great, because look at the things our people has gone through. Look at the pain and anguish that people has gone through by basically our own hand because we were so disobedient to the Father. So, if everybody want to beat us, where's your history about the pain that you've gone through in obedience to the Father? Where's your slavery? Where's your humiliation? Where's your tears that made rivers on the ground of our children being murdered, our family being murdered? we have to look back at what we did.
Mm-hmm.
So Yahweh knew the covenant he was making with us. And he said we broke his covenant. He's not going to break it. But we have to learn. Because he said when he chose, you're going to do his will. So I know you're going to get into all that, but
Right.
that's why people shouldn't say, why are they so perfect, or why Yahweh only chose them, or be jealous, or why he always chose them. Look at what the children of Yahshua has gone through. And how many is going to try and keep that covenant to give Yahweh his glory?
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 3. Can two walk together except they be agreed?
And that's also important. Can two walk together except they be agreed? So this is why we cannot walk in fellowship with those that are fellowship with darkness, that are not trying to do righteousness. Because when we walk with them, that's saying that we agree. We agree with y'all. No, we can't. And in this word, it's the same thing, whether you know you Israel or not. I can only walk with you when you walking in righteousness, or vice versa. That's it. Because once you start, I don't care who you are, I don't care if it's my brother right here next to me, we walk together all the time because we trying to walk according to these commandments. But the moment that I decide, hey, I'm going to transgress this law, I forget the law. If my brother loves me, he's going to say, listen, first of all, don't do that. He's going to try to rebuke me. But at the end of the day, I don't care how long we've done things together. When he sees that I'm refusing to listen, I'm refusing to repent, I don't want to take counsel, I can't walk with you. I can't walk with you to go do this wickedness. That is a false worldly type of loyalty. That's not true loyalty. True loyalty is when you walk away from somebody sometime and say, listen, I can't deal with this. And many of us had to deal with this yesterday or the day before when they had their Thanksgiving. We had to be like, listen, I'm all cool, we can eat and I'll sit down, but when y'all start getting in this pagan festivities, y'all want to sit around and talk about how thankful. No, I can't. I'm sorry. I do that every day. Tell y'all how thankful I am. I do that before I eat. I'm thankful. But nah, I'm not going to participate in your harvest god to Ceres or whatever god that this thing was originated from. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Will a lion roar in the forest when he has no prey? Will a young lion cry out of his den if he have taken nothing? Can a bird fall in a snare upon the earth, where no gin is for him? Shall one take up a snare from the earth and have taken nothing at all? Shall a trumpet be blown in the city and the people not be afraid? Shall there be evil in the city and Yahweh has not done it? Surely my sovereign Yahweh will do nothing, but he reveals his secret unto his servants, the prophets. The lion has roared, who will not fear? My sovereign Yahweh has spoken, but who can but prophesy? Publish in the palaces at Ashdod, and in the palaces in the land of Mitzrayim, and say, assemble yourselves upon the mountains of Samaria, and behold the great tumults in the midst thereof, and the oppressed in the midst thereof. For they know not to do right, says Yahweh, who store up violence and robbery in their palaces. Therefore thus says my sovereign Yahweh, an adversary there shall be even round about the land, and he shall bring down your strength from you, and your palaces shall be spoiled, says Yahweh. As the shepherd takes out of the mouth of the lion 2 legs or a piece of an ear, so shall the children of Yasharal be taken out that dwell in Samaria, in the corner of a bed in Damascus, in a couch. Hear you and testify in the house of Jacob, says my sovereign Yahweh, the Elohim of hosts, in the day that I shall visit the transgressions of Yasharal upon him, I will also visit the altars of Bethel, and the horns of the altar shall be cut off and fall to the ground. And I will smite the winter house with the summer house, and the houses of ivory shall perish, and the great houses shall have an end, says Yahweh.
All right, so we see here in Amos chapter 3, verse 2, that's another one you want to highlight. You only of all the families of the earth have I known, therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. That goes hand in hand with the end of Psalms 68 on verse 6, where it says point blank, I set the solitary in families. I decide who I want to choose. We don't decide who that we're just going to make ourselves God's people. We don't make that decision. Yahweh decides these are my people of the earth that I have chosen, and anybody else that wants to be my people have to be like these people, because I'm going to show these people how to be my people. Let's go to Acts chapter 7. Now, Acts chapter 7 is a good chapter to summarize the nation of Yasharal. So we're going to take some of this chapter and we're going to kind of give us a crash course and speed us up a little bit to the time of Moshe.
Oh, this was when Israel was getting read their Miranda rights.
Mm-hmm. So this is where they're being told, this is when Stephen was being about to get martyred. And he's basically just speaking of the Holy Spirit coming out, just telling us all our stuff. And they like, by the time he finished that, they had to stone his brother. So Acts chapter 7, and we're just going to read verses 1 through 29 because Stephen gives a really good account. So you want to highlight this chapter because chapter 7 is a good synopsis on your history as being the children of Yasharal. And if you don't know yet, if you are a descendant of the transcontinental slave trade, the children of slaves, or the sub-Saharan slave trade, and you have absolutely no way of knowing who your ancestors were because your heritage was cut off and you are of melanated people, you are likely the children of Yasharal, bloodline, likely. And we're going to prove that when we go through these different scriptures because there's only one group of people, not even a race of people, but one group of people within a race of people that have went through all these things that we're about to read through today. Many cultures have had hard times and have gone through things. There's been many slaves. There've been white slaves, black slaves, Asian slaves, whatever. But no group of people, except for one, has had their entire nationality dispersed into all the countries of the earth. And that is the haymaker proof point that show me where your entire people were sent into every nation of the earth. Show me that, then you can come talk to me about you, the children of Yasharal. So Acts chapter 7, and we're going to read verses 1 through 29. And this is Stephen, which was the first believing martyr that was killed for Yeshua's sake. And he is being brought for charges in front of the Sanhedrin, the Pharisees.
Then said the high priest, "Are these things so?" And he said, "Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The Elohim of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, before he dwelt in Haran, and said unto him, Get you out of your country and from your kindred, and come into the land which I shall show you."
All right, so here again, you have second and third witnesses. Yah sets the solitary in families. So he chooses who he wants, and then he chose a nation that he wants. And when he chose a nation that he wants, then he chooses who he wants within that nation. So again, you're seeing another instance of Yah pulling people away from their family, pulling you away from the general population, say, no, I'm sanctifying you. I have a special task for you to do. Go ahead.
Verse 4. Then he came out of the land of the Chaldeans and dwelt in Haran. And from there, when his father was dead, he removed him into this land wherein you now dwell. And he gave him none inheritance in it, no, not so much as to set his foot on it yet. He promised that he will give it to him for possession and to his seed after him, when as yet he had no child. And Elohim spoke on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years.
All right, so this is prophecy now. This is prophecy all the way back in Genesis, where Abraham was told that his seed was going to be strangers in a land that they didn't know, nor their fathers knew. And they would be evil entreated for 400 years. Now, we already know that we were in Egypt for over 400 years. It was what, Elder, was it 433 years to the exact same day?
430. It was 430.
30 or 33?
30.
30.
30.
But it was over 400 years. So we know that it's not talking about that captivity.
And there wasn't no slaves at that time.
Exactly. And we weren't in captivity the whole time we were there. Because for a long portion of time, Yosef was in charge and we were ruling Egypt. So this is the prophecy that brings us to here, that we're waiting to be freed from this 400-year prophecy. Now people will say, hey, well, slaves have been here longer than 400 years. Well, first of all, every slave that came here wasn't an Israelite. They sent Africans here. They sent Native Americans. They tried to enslave them. They tried to enslave a lot of different people. They sent white people here first. They was getting burnt up. They was dying just like they dying over there in Israel right now. That sun was tearing them up. So they brought us there, and the Most High doesn't deal with us as an individual. Okay, that individual came in here, the clock starts. The Most High deals with us as a nation. So our nation has to be here for 400 years. Go ahead.
Verse 7. And the nation to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, as said Elohim. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place. And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begat Yitzchak, Isaac, and circumcised him the 8th day. And Yitzchak begot Jacob. And Jacob begat the 12 patriarchs.
All right. So it's giving you a count of the bloodline. Father Abraham begot Yitzchak, Isaac, and Isaac begot Jacob. And Jacob was the father of the 12 tribes of Israel. That's why we're called Israelites, because we are descendants of the males of the 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 sons of Jacob. So this is how we are Israelites. Go ahead.
Verse 9. And the patriarchs, moved with envy, sold Yosef into Mitzrayim. But Elohim was with him.
So his own brothers sold him into slavery. Not the other nations, but his own brothers. Go ahead.
And delivered him out of all his afflictions, and gave him favor and wisdom in the sight of Pharaoh, the king of Mitzrayim, and he made him governor over Mitzrayim and all his house. Now there came a dearth over all the land of Mitzrayim and Canaan, and great affliction, and our fathers found no sustenance.
So it was a drought. There was a big drought. But before the big drought, his own brothers, Joseph's own brothers, sold him into slavery. And he ended up being in Mizraim in Egypt. And he's being raised up to being a governor of the house. So now there's nobody above him other than Pharaoh. So now you have Egypt being run in righteousness. So when a place is being run in righteousness, because you have a righteous Hebrew in control, there's going to be blessings. So there's blessings all through Egypt, but the rest of the earth is in a drought. Go ahead.
But when Jacob heard that there was corn in Mitzrayim, he sent out our fathers first. And at the second time, Yosef was made known to his brethren, and Yosef's kindred was made known unto Pharaoh. Then sent Yosef and called his father Jacob to him, and all his kindred, 70 souls. 75 souls. So Jacob went down into Mitzrayim and died, he and our fathers, and were carried over into Shechem, and laid in the sepulchre that Abraham bought for a sum of money of the sons of Emor, the father of Shechem. But when the time of the promise drew near, which Elohim had sworn to Abraham, the people grew and multiplied in Mitzrayim. Till another king rose, which knew not Yosef. The same dealt subtly with our kindred, and evil entreated our fathers, so that they cast out their young children to the end that they might not live. In which time Moses, was born, and was exceeding fair, and nourished up in his father's house 3 months. And when he was cast out, Pharaoh's daughter took him up and nourished him for her own son. And Moshe was learned in all the wisdom of the Mitzrites, and was mighty in words and in deeds. And when he was full 40 years old, it came into his heart to visit his brethren in the children of Yasharal. And seeing one of them suffering wrong, he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed and smote the Egyptian.
All right, so we understand that the background with this was that Pharaoh was upset with the growth of the children of Yasharal and how we were just magnified and growing and being lucrative. So what he did, being that he was a new Pharaoh that did not know Yosef, he started to oppress the children of Yasharal, and he started making a mandate to kill all the firstborn Israelite born sons. So when that happened, the mother put Moshe in a little basket and put him off in the river and said, you know, whatever happens to him happens, but I don't have the heart to kill him. Pharaoh's daughter found him and said, oh, this is my son. So that lets you know what the Israelite must have looked like. He had to be able to look like, if I sit up here and say, look, I see a little white baby floating in the river and I take him home and I got a black wife and I tell people, yeah, this is my son. They'd be like, where you found him? Floating in the river? Because he didn't come from her. I see two black people here. So that lets you know what the nationality of Moses was. He had to have been somebody that could have been brought around Egyptians and they wouldn't know the difference. It's the same proof point with Yeshua, with Christ. When Christ hid in Egypt, how are you going to hide a blonde-haired, blue-eyed baby in Africa, in Egypt, around black people?
At that time,
it wouldn't make no sense. Go ahead.
Verse 25. For he supposed his brethren would have understood how that Elohim by his hand would deliver them, but they understood not. And the next day he showed himself unto them, and they strove, and would have set them at one again, saying, Sirs, you are brethren, why do you wrong one to another? But he that did his neighbor wrong thrust him away, saying, Who made you a ruler and a judge over us?
Yahweh.
Will you kill me as you did the Mitzrayite yesterday?
ooh,
Then fled Moshe at this saying, and was a stranger in the land of Midian, where he begat 2 sons.
All right. So this is now bringing us up to the time of Moshe having to flee from Egypt, because the word has got out that we're going to kill one of the Egyptians, and it's going to be a bad situation for him. So let's go now to Exodus chapter 3. Shema chapter 3.
And you know what, the thing is, we're reading these stories, and around the time that they're going on, the people who are involved in it don't really realize that what's happening is part of Yah's will.
Right.
You know, there's the insecurity. Oh, am I doing the right thing? Am I not doing the right thing? But at the end of the day, you just have to trust Yah. Yah, bring me through this. Have your prayer life, because these things are being written in the heavenly tablets. These are the history of man. If it was going to happen another way, it would have happened another way. And if it didn't, we have to find a way to cope with the circumstance that we're in, because it's created the timeline and the history that we're reading on today.
And when Yah says something, it's like, it's history. Because when he says something, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And he says an event is going to happen, just like what he told us here. Now, what's being recorded is, what are you doing? What is your part in this event? Mm-hmm. The event is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But how was your obedience in this event? So all these people that we're reading about are going through these events that have already been written down and prophesied are already going to happen. But they're writing, the angel is writing down, how are you pertaining to this event? And you know what they're going through. Like I said, they have uncertainty and doubt and fear. And then you have a lot of just, woe is me. Oh my goodness, I can't believe this. My own brothers. Just because I had on a coat with many colors, they don't sold me into slavery. Now I'm in Egypt. And oh man, now I'm in jail. And Pharaoh's wife trying to sleep with me. And now I'm being put in jail. Oh, woe is me, woe is me. And Yahweh's like, man, just shut up. I'm trying to put you at top so you can save your people. Now, Yosef is looking down over, on the tower now, looking over all of Egypt, and he's in control. But at the time he being sold in slavery, woe is me, woe is me. And that's how our lives are. We go through things. And we wonder, why is this happening to me? Because this is not how I want it to be. All the meanwhile, we got this short vision we can't see here. And right beyond your vision is this blessing that's there for you. That's going to benefit you and benefit your people. So if you care about your people, you're going to want to benefit your people. Yes, I'm elder?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, brother, you know, you just gave two different thoughts, you know, that kind of goes on together, which is, yeah, true. It's very true. We don't see too far in front of our eyes. Right? I think that's why Yahweh calls us sheep, because, you know, as I explained one time, a long time ago, that, you know, sheep just said that they had very poor vision.
Right.
They can't see but 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet in front of them, you know, clearly, but their hearing is very good.
Right.
So, you know, Yeshua made a point on that. My sheep know my voice. You know, so we follow him when we know our master's voice. We follow our shepherd. Okay? So, you know, it's funny how, you know, how Yahweh allows us, as we seek his face, to reveal his golden nuggets, you know, of the scripture, to let us see further than what's written on the page. As my brother, you know, read on this light synopsis on our people from the beginning to the present, you know, we also in that chapter talks about the name of Yeshua. Because they do say in Acts chapter 7, verse 45, 46, they use the name Jesus, you know, when it's supposed to be Yeshua.
Right.
And if you wish to understand what the name would be in English, it'd be Joshua, Yeshua. You see, so, but that wasn't the point. They didn't want to show Joshua the son of Nun in that section right there, who they're talking about. But they wanted to put Jesus there because that's another way they didn't want us to see the word Yahweh. You know, there, Yahweh's son, Yeshua, there. So they try to take the names out so we don't know who's really talking to us. We don't know who we talking about. You know, so how blind we were before, and how Yahweh dropped a few scales off our eyes to see more of his truth, so we could be more obedient. So I wanted to add that there because I don't know if we're going to go there later on, but since we were there, I wanted to add that as we were talking about, you know, how they changed the names in Scripture, so we don't know who we reading about, who we worship.
Right. And that's intentional. You know, that was intentional on their part. To anything to insert confusion, you know, was from the adversary, the devil. And we had a quick question from a brother who was asking us what camera that we use. This is a Logitech C920 is the one that we use to stream on YouTube. It's like $50, $60, whatever, 1080p, hooks right into your computer. And then on Facebook, we're using an iPhone, just iPhone 6, streaming live. So go ahead, brother. We are at Exodus chapter 3, and we're going to read verses 1 through 15.
Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush, and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not near here, put off your shoes from off your feet, for the place whereon you stand is holy ground.
All right, so wherever the angel is, he is speaking in the authority of Yahweh. He is part of Elohim. This is why we use that term Elohim and not God. Because Yahweh is physically there because his spirit, his angel is there. That's what makes it holy ground, because his messenger, his angel is there. So you remove your shoes. And this is what changes our regular house into a sanctuary when we pray unto Yah and we invite the angel and we invite his spirit to come in here and reside with us so we can have a holy convocation, a Kodesh Mikra. And this is why we take off our shoes in the house on Shabbat. But then on Bible studies, when we're not inviting the angel in, you know, you walk with your shoes. It's just a regular house. But when we invite the angel in, this is what makes it a sanctuary. This is what makes it holy. And this is the format that we use that was based off of Yeshua and how he went into houses and how he was able to turn a house into a sanctuary. Or in Ezekiel 16, where it says that I will provide a little sanctuary for you wherever you should be spread in your captivity.
I just wanted to bring up a note on verse 2, we're talking about the angel of Yahweh who appeared to him in the flame. We know, we're talking about the burning bush. The bush seemed like it was burning, like it was on fire.
Right.
But the bush became a vessel to show the power and the magnitude of Yahweh and to catch Moshe's attention. Because if he's watching the bush, then he understands, I say physically a bush, and you've seen the bush probably on fire before.
Right.
Why it's not being consumed.
Right.
So when he's looking at this, okay, it's a fire. He looked up. He sees this bush burning, but as he stares at the bush, it's not being consumed. So he's like, well, what's going on here? So basically, when they say that's an angel used that bush as a vessel and showing the honor of Yahweh through that bush as he burns it and it's not being consumed.
Right.
And I'm making the point for our vessel. How are we only able to become a vessel of honor if we don't let Yahweh burn away the dross that's inside of us to show his light through us?
Right.
So that's how I believe one way we can become a vessel of honor by being used by Yahweh and being obedient by Yahweh. And because he has vessels of honor too. We just really love for the fire. We are consumed. But I want to bring that point up so people can think about that a little deeper. That being a vessel of Yahweh is being obedient to his word, to let his light shine, so that we are a vessel of honor for Yahweh. So I just want to bring that point up because it just struck me for a second.
Right. And that's a good point. It's very symbolic of, showing that the power and magnitude of Yah, that he can take something that is a vessel that is destructible, that fire should destroy it utterly, but yet because he has decided to put his spirit on that it could be on fire and not be hurt, not be touched, not a leaf burnt, nothing. So this is how we are. We are vessels that are destructible. We're going to perish. We're going to die. We can be hurt, but at the same time, if he puts his spirit on us, we could be walking through fires like we had with Daniel and his people and Meshach, Mishael, Hananiah, and Azariah. Those brothers were able to be in that situation and not be burnt. So it's showing that symbolism that, look, I can take anything and I can make it indestructible if it can retain my spirit. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. Exodus Shemot, chapter 3 and verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of your father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, the Elohim of Yaakov. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people which are in Mitzrayim, and have heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters. For I know their sorrows, and am come down to deliver them out of the hands of the Mitzrites, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, and unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto a place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Yasharal is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Mitzrites oppress them. Come now therefore, and I will send you unto Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the children of Yasharal, out of Mitzrayim. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Yasharal out of Mitzrayim? And he said, Certainly I will be with you, and this shall be a token unto you that I have sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Mitzrayim, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Yasharal, and say unto them, The Elohim of your fathers has sent me unto you, and they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And Elohim said unto Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shall you say unto the children of Yasharal, I am has sent me. unto you.
All right, so notice in verse 13, at the last sentences, there's two questions there. What is his name, and what shall I say unto them? There's a reason why there's two questions there. But what people like to do is take that and just ignore the second question. What shall I say unto them? So verse 14 is telling you, what shall I say unto them? You tell them, I am that I am. That's what you tell them. I am that I am sent me unto you. Whatever that is, I'm that. Don't be trying to have them pigeonhole me into this idol or this picture or this God or this, that. I am all that existed, came from me. So this is what he's saying. And in Hebrew, that I am is Ahaya, Asher, Ahaya. That is the title that he was given. Point blank. What should I tell him? Whatever I am, he that exists and that existed before. Verse 15 we're getting into now is now going to cover, well, what is his name? And you're going to have the instructions of what you're supposed to do with his name. Go ahead.
Verse 15. And Elohim said moreover unto Moshe, thus shall you say unto the children of Yasharal, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto you. This is my name forever.
Okay, so Yahweh Elohim, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Yitzchak, and the Elohim of Yaakov has sent me unto you. This is my name. So he's telling you, this is my name. So you can't mistake that. He's telling you point blank, this is my name. Go ahead.
This is my forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
So this is what we are to memorialize in all generations until time changes and we're given a new name. So while we're here in this earth, in this generation, in all the generations, we are to memorialize Yahweh. The name that was originally in here that we went to the study note and pulled up, the name that they removed and placed the Lord. And the same name that David in Psalm 68 and verse 4 said point blank, extol him by his name, exalt that name, Yah. Go ahead.
Verse 16.
Okay, no, we stopped at verse 15. So this is my name forever. So now you know Yah's name. We know Yah for short, Yahweh for full. That is his name. And you see Moshe is coming in here now to free the children of Yasharal. Yahweh has heard our afflictions. He heard our cries and how we were being ill-treated. So he is saying, Moshe, go down here and you're going to free these people by my power so they can come serve me in the wilderness and worship me. So that was the whole reason we were released. All right, let's go to Luke chapter 22. Luke chapter 22. So a lot of people weren't aware of the name of the Most High. They just believed his name was God. And that's how we talk to him. Hey, God, Lord. But he has a name and it's given to us just because the powers that be have decided to hide that from you because you are the only family on the earth that he knows. So if you're the only people that he knows and you call him by name, you think he's not going to hear you? Especially if you calling him to repentance because you're trying to change, you're trying to better yourself, you're trying to get with the program that he set before us. He's going to hear. But these carnal people who have idolized his name figured that if we just remove his name, then we'll be straight. Because their name is the power. But see, they have turned his name into an idol that doesn't operate that way. So we're in Luke chapter 22, and we're going to read second. I think I wrote the wrong scripture there. It's supposed to be chapter 12. Excuse me. Luke chapter 12. Luke is chapter 12. Luke chapter 12. And we're going to read let's start this at verse 41.
Then Peter, Kepha, said unto him, Master, speak you this parable unto us, or even to us all? And the master said, Who then is that faithful and wise steward, whom his master shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in due season? Blessed is that servant whom his master, when he comes, shall find so doing. Of a truth I say unto you, that he will make him rule over all that he has. And if that servant say in his heart, My master delays his coming, and shall begin to beat the men servants and maidens, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken, the master of that servant will come in a day when he looks not for him, and at an hour when he is not aware, and will cut him asunder and appoint him his portion with the unbelievers. And that servant which knew his father's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. But he that knew not, and did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes. For unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required. And to whom men have committed much, of him they will ask the more.
All right, so this is Yahshua speaking here. This is Christ. Red writing. When you have the red writing in your Bibles, that's letting you know Christ is speaking here. And he's telling you that to who is given more, much is expected. But who wasn't given a lot, they have very few stripes. So within our families, we have people that haven't really been given much. They don't really understand this word. They don't really understand who they are. They're not going to be beaten with the same stripes that we are. We have been called out. We have been set solitary. The fact that you're even watching this and are interested in your culture and in the Bible on a Saturday when you could be partying, watching football, doing anything else, that lets you know you were called out. You were called out. You were set solitary in your family. And with us being the only nation that he has known, he's telling us he's going to punish us. So Yahshua is being another witness here, saying much is given to you, so much is expected. So now that you know that much has been given unto you because you have been exposed to who you are, when the majority of our people are walking around here without a clue, not knowing who they are, then this is why we are being beaten with more stripes. Go ahead.
Verse 49. I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it be already kindled? But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished? Suppose you that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you no, but rather division. So
this is the Messiah coming here point blank. Listen, I come in my Father's name. So don't you think I'm going to do something different than my father did? My father came here point blank and said, Yah sets the solitary family. You only I don't know. I don't know everybody. You only I know. I don't need everybody. I started the whole earth over with 8 people. So what you think his son going to come in here? I came for everybody. Everybody anybody that wicked, unwicked, whatever. Hey, just come hang out with me. I'm cool. No. He said point blank in here. Straight forth. No, you think I came here to send peace on this wicked place? You think I came here, the word, to bring peace when y'all are doing things that my father says if you do this, you're not going to have peace. You're going to have death and destruction. No, I came here to bring fire on this earth. And it says, no, I didn't come here to grab everybody. No, division. Because I am, like what the thing says, I'm putting the goats on the left and the sheep on the right. So that's division. So that's what he's doing in our lives right now. He's dividing, division. He's pulling his people closer, and he's exposing the people that are not his people. And this is not just based pure on nationality. This is based on who is going to be commandment keepers, who's going to be covenant keepers, who's going to be servants of righteousness, warriors of peace. That's who he's calling. Go ahead.
Verse 52. For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law.
All right, so there's separation within the family, all these different things. And what could cause that separation? This word, righteousness. When you don't want to walk with the program, you don't want to do the same traditions. Well, you know, this is a tradition. We always get together on Christmas and we sing Christmas carols and we eat pork, the big old ham. You know, and we lie to our children and tell them that some fat white man came down the chimney. Well, I remember asking my parents, I said, how the hell you got in here? I'm from the hood. We ain't got no chimneys. What chimney? For what? Man, I'm from Miami. It don't get past, if it's 70 degrees, we cold outside. So how you got in here? So I'm checking the screen door. I'm like, because if Santa Claus can get in here, you know, the Jack boys can get in here. You know, the Jack squad could get in. So let me make sure this thing is tight. No. Division. And that's when you get division, when you tell Big Mama, nah, listen, don't be sending my kids no Christmas present. Now, you want to send them something nice? Hey, they're good kids. Cool. Mm-hmm. But if you put Christmas on it, it's going right back to sender. Oh, there's a division now. Now, all of a sudden, nobody want to mess with you. Nobody like you no more because you're trying to step outside of this tradition for righteousness' sake. All right, so this is the Messiah. He's letting you know, I ain't come here anything different than my Father because I am part of the Father. So us as being sons, we not coming anything else different than the Father as well. To keep these commandments, to be merciful, but to not let you feel comfortable in your wickedness. Let's go to Exodus chapter 19. Shema chapter 19. So we have already read that he has chosen us. He has chosen us. But what did we do? We had to agree. There was a covenant being made. This is about Yah's covenant. That's what this whole class is about. Yah's covenant. Well, there was a covenant made. A covenant takes two parties. There has to be an agreement. There has to be a contract. So what we're going to see here in Exodus, we're going to see the betrothal. Well, we're saying, I do. Yes. Yes, we accept this. We are your people now. Yes, we want this. Because we saw all the blessings. Oh, yeah, we want all that. Yeah, we will be high above the earth and blessed in our store, blessed in our fruit of our body, blessed in everything we do. Cursed is anybody that try to curse us. Yeah, where do I sign up? Where do I sign up? So we're in Exodus chapter 19, and we're just going to read 1 through 9, and we're going to see these marriage vows by our nation.
In the 3rd month, when the children of Yasharal were gone forth out of the land of Mitzrayim, the same day came they into the wilderness of Sinai. For they were departed from Rephidim, and were come to the desert of Sinai, and had pitched in the wilderness, and there Yasharal camped before the mount. And Moshe went up unto Elohim, and Yahweh called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shall you say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Yasharal, You have seen what I did unto the Mitzrites, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
So we thought that because he took us, that automatically made us a peculiar treasure unto him above all people for all the earth. So we took it as, well, he chose us, so we automatically going to be that. But we always like to cherry pick. The beginning of that verse says, now therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all the people. For all the earth is mine. Now, we're not above anybody right now. We're at the bottom. We ain't above nobody. Even the Mexicans can say, you know what, I don't like the way they treating us. I'm going back to Mexico and I'm taking my $15 I made here and live like a king. Everybody else can do that. We can't. They tell us to go back to Africa. So we got to go back to a whole damn continent? Are you kidding me? So because we didn't obey his voice and we didn't keep his covenant, this is why we are not the peculiar treasure and we are not above all the people of the earth. You have some, Elder?
Just quickly, verse 4, that's the beginning of it states that he are Yahweh's witnesses. Because he told us, you see what I did.
Right.
So since we saw what Yahweh has done, and I mean our ancestors, that means that they're going to publish what they saw.
Right.
So they become his witnesses. So, you know, I want to bring that point up because, you know, there is a church out there that talks about Jehovah's Witnesses. And that means what? Calamity, ruin,
mischief.
Witnesses. So
right.
This right here tells about, and he's talking about Yasharah. You know, you are his witnesses. So I just want to bring that point up because as we go further on, it can give people more thought on who Yahweh's children are.
Right. And that goes with Isaiah chapter 49. You are my witnesses.
That's right.
You are my servants. So when understanding that you're a witness, when you're a witness, that don't mean you always witness something good. Like, hey, I witnessed this brother just feed the homeless. You were still a witness. But you also a witness. I just saw this brother oppress that homeless person. And I told him that was wickedness and he didn't care. We witnesses. That's what we supposed to witness. We supposed to tell the word. We supposed to say the word and we witness. So you have 2 or more witnesses. So the person can be like, well, if somebody would have told me that wickedness was bad, I wouldn't have been wicked. Oh, no, well, somebody told you. You just decided not to listen. Go ahead.
Verse 6. And you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. These are the words which you shall speak unto the children of Yasharah.
So this is what we were designed to be. Just our nation. No other nation was designed for this. Because again, Amos chapter 3, you alone of all the families of the earth have I known. You shall be unto me, not a tribe of priests, a kingdom of priests and a holy nation. And if we are a kingdom of priests, that means a priest can't marry a whore. A priest has to have the right woman next to him because he has a job to do for his nation and for the people. So that means this woman was chosen to. Not only the king, the men, to be priests, the women were chosen of the children of Yasharah to be wives of priests.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Verse 7. And Moshe came and called for the elders of the people and laid before their faces all these words which Yahweh commanded him. And all the people answered together and said, all that Yahweh has spoken we will do. And Moshe returned the words of the people unto Yahweh. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, lo, I come unto you in a thick cloud, that the people may hear when I speak with you, and believe you forever. And Moshe told the words of the people unto Yahweh.
All right. So in verse 8, he said, look, I told y'all, this is what y'all said, this is what Daddy said. If you keep this covenant that I'm about to give you, then you will be a strange and peculiar people. You will be above you'll be just like me because everybody will respect you because they know you associated with me. But if you're going to be associated with me, then you got to do this righteousness because they know you associated with me. So if you're doing wickedness and you associated with me, you're making me look bad. You blaspheming my name now. So he says that point blank. And what do we say? The elders spoke up because this is what the people answered. All that Yahweh has spoken, we will do. I do. I will be your wife. That's the betrothal. That's the betrothal process. A betrothed, we're gonna be married, we're gonna be wives, and then after that, the covenant, it's gonna be sealed in blood. And that's where the circumcision was that sealed this covenant in blood. All right, so we're gonna stop there. Let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. And this is probably the MVP of all scriptures, showing us who we are. It's undeniable. If there's any one chapter you can remember out of this entire book is Deuteronomy 28, because you can prove to anybody, anywhere, anytime who the children of Yasharal is in this one chapter. It's long, but this one chapter will prove all these things. And Deuteronomy 28 is going to elaborate more after that. Exodus 3, when he's saying, look, you'll be a strange and peculiar people. Just keep this covenant. You with it? Yeah, we'll do it. All right, now let me give you the full details of what we need to do.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken diligently unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to observe and to do all his commandments which I command you this day, that Yahweh your Elohim will set you on high above all nations of the earth.
So he chose us. He promised us, if we keep the covenant, we're going to be high above all the nations of the earth. So unless you believe that Yahweh is a liar, then obviously we didn't. So who is more likely to be the liar? Yahweh the liar, or us the liar? Yahweh said, listen, you do this, I'm going to put you on top. If you don't, I'm going to put you on the bottom. True or false? Now you have man that said, all that you say we will do. Who is the liar? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on you and overtake you, if you shall hearken unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim. Blessed shall you be in the city, and blessed shall you be in the field. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body, and the fruit of your ground, and the fruit of your cattle, the increase of your kind, and the flocks of your sheep. Blessed shall be your basket and your store. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. Yahweh shall cause your enemies that rise up against you to be smitten before your face. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. Yahweh shall command the blessing upon you in your storehouses and in all that you set your hand unto. And he shall bless you in the land which Yahweh your Elohim gives you. Yahweh shall establish you a holy people unto himself, as he has sworn unto you, if you shall keep the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim and walk in his ways.
Now, how is Yahweh going to establish you as a holy people if you're not keeping the commandments? You can't be holy not keeping the commandments, because not keeping the commandments makes you defiled. You can't be defiled and holy at the same time. You can't have sweet water and bitter water coming out the same place. It can't be. So it's literally just that simple. I will establish you as a holy people. Just keep the commandments and you're going to see holiness come on you, because it's going to direct your steps. The Holy Spirit is going to direct your steps. But we refuse to keep the commandments but want to call ourselves holy. That's vain.
I'm going to put that in the highlight reel.
I mean, like literally.
I believe that is why, Yeshua had made a point that they went along with the first verse, when he was taking it from Hebrews chapter 8, verse 8, when he's talking about in that day he's going to make a new covenant. Because this is a process that his brothers and sisters was going through to become holy. And some of them were truly trying to become holy.
Right.
But he said, because that fault's going to be found in us, because we don't want to pay attention to the sacrifices. We don't want to understand what the true sacrifices are. When they give you sacrifices for your sins,
right.
Then he said, okay, then he had to come into play in the New Testament. So, because they found fault in us, this is the terms that were given unto us later, that, when he changes our heart to never disobey Yahweh, changes our mind. And I believe that's after you spent 1,000 years in a millennial reign. After that's done, because at all this time we are supposed to be going through a hardcore learning process to learn how to become holy. This is how Yahweh laid the foundation for us to learn what he wanted So we can have life abundance with him. And I'm hoping I'm talking too far anybody's head, you know, but because it's a long process that we go through the scriptures to learn how Yahweh wants us to be, to become this way.
Right.
Because he's so holy, he has to make all these different, how you say, rules.
Right.
So we can even come close to him.
Right. So we don't just die.
Right, or we're going to just die. You know, our eating, our diet, you know, how we're supposed to wash and cleanse ourselves before we come for him, how we're supposed to check our thoughts, judge ourselves so we don't have to be judged. There's so many things that he's trying to teach us. So he's laying our foundation to how we're supposed to act, you know. So I just want to bring that point up so I know you're going to respond in the day.
All right, go ahead, brother.
You know, the thing that stood out here to me is Yah is telling them, you know, how to be blessed. You know, how I'm going to listen to you if you do these things. And the commandments that he gives them, like you'll expect an Elohim to give you these deep, intricate, you know, commandments, but they're just it's like simple. So he really broke it down to the DNA of things. You know, if you see your brother's ox falling by the way, pick it up, hold it, and wait for him to come back. Like the same way he made laws of light and dark, he made laws of containing, you know, about bitter and sweet. He made laws concerning our conduct now on a whole nother level, saying these are the ways you're going to conduct yourself. These are the ways that are going to help you be a fruitful people. And people might overlook it and be like, oh, what is this about the Jubilee and stuff? But they present themselves on every rung of society, even big businesses. Right. You know, if it came down to it where they weren't so predatory, if they listened about the Jubilee, about making sure that your brother didn't wax poor by your means, it wouldn't be such an oppressive society that we live in today. It wouldn't be caught up in capitalism and the predatory nature of capitalism, that is not there to help those who have fallen into some state. It wants you. It wants to keep you in that state. It feeds like a shark on your weakness. You know, if they see you as a sheep, they're gonna be the wolf to capitalize as like and be like a parasite on any weakness or any. Oh, you didn't know what the law said? Oh well, you know, too bad. But Yah's law, pretty much as simple as it is, as basic as he's put it, to talk to a spiritually retarded people. If you put it simply, you know, the people didn't know what righteousness was. Yah had to put it in simple terms to make sure, and then by following it, you become the head of all the nations. And in Yah's wisdom, he was able to put righteousness in such simple terms for us to follow it easily.
Right. And just so that we could be the head of all nations, so that the other nations can have a living person that's flawed and said, look, I know these people ain't perfect. These retarded. These Hebrews are retarded. But look at them. They high above the earth and they're walking in. Look at the kind of wisdom that these people walking with. They did. So maybe we should do that. You know, because we've inherited lies. Our fathers lied to us. This is what the other nations are supposed to say to us. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 7.
No, we're at verse 11.
Are we further down?
No, 10.
Verse 10. And all the people of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of Yahweh, and they shall be afraid of you. And Yahweh shall make you plenteous in goods, in the fruit of your body, and in the fruit of your cattle, and in the fruit of your ground, in the land which Yahweh swore unto your fathers to give you. Yahweh shall open unto you his good treasure, the heaven, to give you the rain unto your land in his season, and to bless all the work of your hand. And you shall lend unto many nations, and you shall not borrow. And Yahweh shall make you the head and not the tail, and you shall be above only, and you shall not be beneath. And if you hearken unto the commandments of Yahweh your Elohim, which I command you this day to observe and to do them, and you shall not go aside from any of the words which I command you this day, to the right hand or to the left, to go after other gods to serve them, but it shall come to pass.
So the first 14 verses is all about blessings. The next freaking 30, 40 verses is all the curses. Because he knew, listen, man, y'all ain't finna do this. So I'm just giving y'all, I'm not gonna waste my time talking about this. I'm just gonna give you one verse. Eyes have not seen, ears have not heard the greatness that Yah has in store for you. You can't even imagine that. So I'm not even gonna elaborate that, but I'm gonna let you know blow by blow what is gonna happen to you. Because I know thousands of years from now, y'all gonna forget who you are, according to the scriptures we're gonna read next. Matter of fact, y'all gonna forget who you are, and this is gonna remind you, because you're gonna wake up one day and say, damn, these people here, Israel, is cursed. This is what's gonna happen to these people if they don't keep the covenant. Man, this is some horrible stuff. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Hold up. This is talking about me. This is the stuff that's happening to my people. Why did it say happening to everybody else? So that means, am I keeping these commandments? No. And this is what's going to happen to the people that don't keep the commandments? Man, this is us. Now you have solid proof that they cannot deny it. I don't care. You can talk to any Jewish, European white person that want to call himself the children of Yasharah. We can go, I ain't got to argue with you. Let's go to Devarim chapter 28. Thank you. Deuteronomy 28. Come on, let's go. Let's break it. Explain to me how this happened to all your people. Matter of fact, just explain to me how this happened to you. Holocaust? Oh, okay. So they moved you away from your place to punish you. Oh no, you were punished in your own land? Show me that here.
So why do you give reparation in Israel? Why don't you give it in Germany?
Right.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if you will not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh or Elohim, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon you and overtake you. Cursed shall you be in the city, and cursed shall you be in the field.
Cursed whether you in the city of Atlanta, or cursed whether you in the suburb.
Cursed shall your basket be, your basket in your store.
Cursed is your refrigerator. We broke as hell. And if you broke as hell at home, you know your bank account broke as hell too. Go ahead.
Cursed shall be the fruit of your body and the fruit of your land, the increase of your kind and the flocks of your sheep.
You heard T.I. He said his dog got parvo. Everybody cursed. Your dog is cursed. You cursed. Your child is cursed. You got children growing here, born with sickle cell. Everything you got is cursed. Go ahead.
Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out. Yahweh shall send upon you cursing, vexation, and rebuke, and all that you set your hand unto for to do, until you be destroyed, and until you perish quickly because of the wickedness of your doings, whereby you have forsaken me.
So you have a lot of people that say, well, you know, I don't like getting into the curses. We always talking about curses, curses, curses. Well, this is the thing that's going to wake you up. You can't just ignore the punishment and say, I'm just going to ignore the punishment and I'm just going to be holy. It doesn't work that way. The punishment is there for a reason, to get you to look to, why am I being punished? So you can't skip over these things. It's pride and arrogancy that says I don't want to talk about curses because I don't want to believe that. I'm living all this righteousness. No, it don't work that way. You're not living this righteousness because you still being cursed. Because I don't care how well you do. Look at Oprah. She a billionaire. Yep. Walked into a store and these people treating her like she was a straight up from where she was from. Yeah. They don't care. So you're not going to escape these curses. The only thing you can do is alleviate some of these curses by fixing this, by keeping the commandments. But you're still going to have to deal with these generational curses that were done by your forefathers before you.
Fumble. You know, brother, one thing that when you look at how Yah manifests these curses, what he's doing is that he's robbing humanity of their ability to fulfill the desires of their heart. Right. And that's that's at the root of this curse, is that the pursuit of happiness. I'm going to frustrate everything you put your hand to. You want crops? I'm going to have somebody else eat it. Mm-hmm. You want children? I'm going to remove that from you. Anything that you want riches, I'm going to destroy this. You want rain from the sky? I'm going to turn the sky iron and the floor brass, until you decide that, you know what, I can't continue this existence being in rebellion to my Elohim. Right. And then I'm going to submit and be like, you know what, everything I want is going to come from you. Please stop frustrating my path. Right. And please allow me to actually get fulfillment in some of the stuff I'm putting my hands to in the earth.
Right. Or die. Or perish off of the land. That's your choice. Either you're going to be absolutely great or die. Mm-hmm. Because what else do you want for your child? You want your child, listen, you're going to have to be the best. I want the best for you. Or you can do what you're going to do, but that's going to end up getting you killed. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Verse, is it 16? We are down at 19.
Yeah.
Cursed shall you be when you come in, and cursed shall you be when you go out.
We're at 21.
Yahweh shall make the pestilence cleave unto you until he have consumed you from off the land where you go to possess it. Yahweh shall smite you with a consumption and with a fever and with an inflammation. He's going to frustrate your health.
He's going to get high blood pressure, diabetes, sickle cell, AIDS. Everything going to stick onto you.
And with an extreme burning, and with the sword, and with blasting, and with mildew, and they shall pursue you until you perish. And your heaven that is over your head shall be brass, and the earth that is under you shall be iron. That don't sound like compassion at all. It's getting rough.
You can't grow your food. And if you can't grow your food, you're a slave. And this is why they keep us in a position where we can't grow our own food. Because we can't say, F y'all, I don't want to deal with y'all. I'm going to go ahead in my backyard and eat. Nah. He's taking away your rain, and he's making your soil not even inhabitable.
Yahweh shall make the rain of your land powder and dust. From heaven shall it come down upon you until you be destroyed. Yahweh shall cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You're going to lose all your fights.
Everything.
Like, I practice. Why am I getting hit so hard?
Not guilty. What? It's on video. It's on HD, bro. He's just saying, look, I'm going to kill you, nigga. And you still got off? You can't win. You losing. You losing. This is the same guy we used to beat up in high school. We just shot him down in the street on camera. In audio. Didn't care. Not guilty. Working in another county now.
Wow. Verse 25. And Yahweh shall cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You shall go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth.
All right. So verse 25. That is one you want to highlight. 25 is the haymaker. No other people in this earth can claim this. It's not even just black people. One group of black people out of this entire earth are the only people that can prove this. It says, Yahweh will cause you to be smitten before your enemies. You shall go one way against them and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed. What other group of people were physically removed from wherever they were and put into all the kingdoms of the earth? Not just you would just move from Europe to Israel. No, every kingdom of the earth. And if you have a question if we in every kingdom of the earth, wait till the Olympics come on, turn it on, or watch any professional sport and see us, and you're gonna see some black guy speaking some language you don't know, but he look just like he from Southside. We the only people like that. Removed into all. Show me the Native Americans being removed. And I'm talking about them European Native Americans. We ain't talking about the black people that were here when they first got here, because they were removed too. But show me the European Native Americans. Show me them being sent all over the earth. Show me them in China. You're not going to do that. Show me these real Latinos that are Greek, Latin. Them people. Show me them being sent into every kingdom of the earth. Show me an Asian person. Go show me an Asian person. Well, my side of the family, the Asian side, they moved to Jamaica. My dad's side, they got there by slavery. Difference. No other group of people in that 12-tribe chart is full of crap. Yeah. Because you trying to tell me that the black Puerto Rican that got there by slavery is Israel, just like the white Puerto Rican that was the slave master, because they from the same slave island, that they both Israel? Get the hell out of here, man. Nope. Them black people is there got there by slavery. That's Israel. But you can't take a whole island and make them Israel. But see, they want to do that because now you got the white Puerto Rican coming in there spending some money, putting some, because he mad at the white people too. He mad too. But at the end of the day, you don't see them say that about America and say, oh, you know, America is Judah. That means the white people that are here, they Judah too. That sounds stupid. But you use that same thinking for all these other islands. It makes sense. What kind of crap is that? So the white man that's here that had us in slavery, he not Judah. But the white man that's in Puerto Rico, he Manasseh. Please. Or the Mexican that got Aztec warrior blood, that can trace his lineage back to ancient Mayan and all that stuff. He the same as the black guy that was there. The real Native Americans, because the real Native Americans were black people. The same black people that were in Mexico. Ain't nothing the difference between America and Mexico but an imaginary line. So they the same people. Stop it. Come on. And how the hell is the Mexican that don't look like us got the same parents as Judah, but he looked like a Mexican? Come on, man.
And where it says, you know, being removed into all the kingdoms of the earth, that can only happen to a people who have been robbed of all their power. You know, people who have no defense. And then a slight snippet of why that happened is in Deuteronomy 32, 29 and 30, where it says, oh, that they were wise,
right,
that they understood this, that they would consider their latter end. You know, and then he goes and elaborates, how should one chase 1,000? How can a few people in ships take your whole tribe? How should one chase 1,000 and two put 10,000 to flight, except their rock had sold them and Yahweh had shut them up? That was not going to happen to you unless your divine creator himself gave you over to this wickedness.
Took away all your strength and your might within you, where you were just so downtrodden and beaten from being slaves and already. So you were raised a slave, where this is what you know. And that's what they did when they bought us. They tried to buy Africans. Them dudes was jumping off shit. They like, man, bump that. You ain't finna have me over there doing this free labor. They jumped off them ships. They wasn't having it. They went over there and tried to enslave them Europeans that came on the landlocked. They came out from Alaska, you know, the trail, all them same Eskimo people and all that. They tried to enslave them people. They was like chopping people. No, we ain't with it. They went and grabbed us. Yes, master. We right in there. Because we was already broken. We were broken. But at least we knew who we were as a people. They came there and said, look, that's the last chance they got is them knowing knowledge of self. So we're going to snatch away their nationality too.
And the tribes of the Arabs that were in West Africa knew their difference and knew they were different because they set up themselves. You have Morocco, which is not an African sounding name at all. Algeria, that's Arabic. That's not, that was the Arabs being part of the slave trade again. With their the coercion, what's that word, where they were collaboration with Spain. So they had their roots of trade and their commerce and things. They were working together.
Right. Crafty council.
They were confederate.
Yeah. Confederate and crafty council. And who were those Arab people? Esau mixing with Ishmael.
Yep.
But somehow Esau, you know, in Africa just automatically turned white. Now, if you can show me that curse in here where it says, I'm going to curse Esau, you're going to be white. I believe it. It would fit. But that's not what it say. Go ahead.
Verse 26, Deuteronomy 28, verse 26. And your carcass shall be meat unto all fowls of the air and unto the beasts of the earth, and no man shall fray them away. Yahweh will smite you with the botch of Mitzrayim, and with the emerods, and with the scab, and with the itch whereof you cannot be healed. Yahweh shall smite you with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. You shall grope at noonday as the blind gropes in darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save you.
So if you don't believe that's us, go to a black function, a barbecue, a party, go to the mall, homecoming, something where you're going to have a lot of black people, and just take one black person and just sprint, just take off. You're going to see a whole wave of people taking off, because that natural fear, we the ones that talk about, I ain't afraid of nothing. I ain't scared of nothing. I ain't scared of nobody or no one. Till somebody take off running. We ain't asking questions. We ain't looking back. We talk about it. What are you running for? Tell me that. Now look at white people. That's peculiar. What's going on over there? They gonna go investigate everything. They don't have the same curses we have. Are they just stronger? They over there swimming with sharks and poking things. You ain't gonna see black people doing that. We scared of sharks. We scared of the weather. We scared of everything. That's a spirit. But yet we are the most warriorful people on this earth. We ain't scared of no fight. We'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime. But this spirit is a spirit of fear that's been put on us because our power has been taken away. Going right back with Deuteronomy 32 of what brother just brought up. Go ahead.
And you see how intricate the curse is. Like you were mentioning earlier on, Yahweh is very descriptive when it came to the curse because he knew that y'all not going to do what it takes to maintain the blessing. So it really make no sense for me to go in depth about it. I'll let you know the facade of it, the figure of it, but y'all going to need to understand how deep this curse is going to go. And then you'll realize, is it really worth it for me to be disobedient?
Right. But
if you focus on the blessing for a little bit, if you want the blessing, it takes maintenance.
Exactly.
If you have a vehicle, whether it's a Ferrari or whether it's a Plymouth or a Civic, in order to keep this thing running, it's going to need your constant maintenance. You have to pay attention to the mindset that you're keeping. Right. You have to pay attention to how you're treating your wives or your children. You have to pay attention to the relationship you're keeping with your brothers. Right. And Yah covers all those in his law: how you treat the children, how you treat the sons, how you treat the animals in your. Yah covered it all. So it's going to take maintenance, but he knows the spiritually lazy. You know, those who are slothful in their soul, they're not going to put forth the effort to maintain this blessing. So since you're going to spend more time in the curses division, let me let you know what it's all about, so you can know how these curses are going to manifest. Right. Not necessarily on everyone, but these people who agreed that they were going to follow the laws that I gave them. Exactly.
Because we know how we'll say, yeah, if you would have told me you was going to do us like this, I would have never, Man, woman, if you'd have told me you was going to leave me if I cheated on you, I wouldn't have cheated on you. That's the stupidness we'll say. No, that woman done told you through and through, I'm out. I'm out. You better not have no passcode on your phone either. That woman going to give you all them details, just like Yah gave us all the details. You're not going to sit here and act like you ain't know what was going to go down. So that years later, when you remember and you think upon the transgression of your forefathers and yourself, you have the proof point here to wake up and say, I'm tired of living these curses. The first 14 verses, they waiting on me. It's promised. All I got to do is do what I said I was going to do. Not what he said I was going to do. Do what I said. I said I will do. I do.
Those first 14 verses are waiting for you with elaboration with it. It got more to it.
Right.
Verse 29, and you shall grope at noonday as the blind gropes in darkness, and you shall not prosper in your ways, and you shall be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save you. You know, evil entreated 400 years. You shall betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her. You shall build a house, and you shall not dwell therein.
The White House.
The movie to Django.
You shall plant a vineyard, and shall not gather the grapes thereof.
Now, what group of people? The Native Americans eating their stuff. They still in their land, eating their food, their own casinos and all this type of stuff. They own language, their own nationality. They know who they are. They know who they are so much that they grabbing the black people that they had as slaves. Say, listen, you ain't getting none of this money. You ain't us. Get up out of here. But what we doing? Oh yeah, this man with this jet straight here that looked like a white man with jet straight here. He Israel too. But they telling us, nah, man, get out of here. You ain't getting no money. Only us do foolishness like that. Go ahead.
So now Yah's elaborating on that frustration. He's gonna go into you're gonna lose your comfort.
Oh, you mean you gonna take my wife? He get your attention there. Touch somebody's wife. He got your attention. Brother's ready to buck. You be the biggest coward in the world till you touch his trophy, his woman. His vessel of life.
Indeed.
How many times they use his wife to have their company to enjoy another man's wife.
Pass around. And they reward that. They reward us the exploitation of our women. They reward that. They did it from slavery times where they put her in there and they stripped her naked and the men ran through her and be like, yeah, they had guests. Like how Dawid, the story when Nathan said, oh, he took the one little ewe lamb and did. Well, they was doing that with our wives. Taking your one little wife, taking her. Right. You know what I'm saying? And giving her to the dude. Oh, you want her? She got a fat behind. This one right here, you'll like her. She real good. Trust me, I know. She real good. Boom. Giving her to that. Having a man going crazy. And this is the things that they did to us. Taking our children away. Go ahead.
Verse 31. Your ox shall be slain before your eyes, and you shall not eat thereof. Your donkey shall be violently taken from before your face, and shall not be restored to you. Your sheep shall be given unto your enemies, and you shall have none to rescue them. None says restore.
Nothing.
Your sons and your daughters shall be given unto another people, and your eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in your hand.
Stop it. Come on. Who else is this talking about? Of all the people. Now, this has happened to other people, other nations of people. But did that nation have their whole nation go through this?
No.
No.
You know, and Israel loves a sign. Here's your sign.
How many signs you need?
Here's your sign. This is going to be a sign and a wonder upon your seed all the days of your life. This is your sign.
You want a sign? Cut on the news.
They make money on it all the time, making movies about it.
You want a sign? Go to Channel 6 News, Channel 7 News. Look, there's your sign constantly. Yep. We the children of Israel.
Here's a miraculous manifestation.
You don't see nobody on TV be like, yeah, this man right here is keeping the commandments and he just got shot 7 times. You don't see no Hebrews. Even as much as these Hebrews out there in the corner yelling and screaming at white folk, you Esau, lick my boot. You don't see the police officers shooting them?
Nope.
Well, probably because their leader is a police officer for one group. But beyond that, the other groups, you don't see them you don't see no Hebrews getting shot down in the street. You don't see no Hebrews going through that stuff. Now, when you do hear of Hebrews doing that stuff, you keep reading down the story and you see the wickedness involved in that.
Verse 32, verse 33. The fruit of your land and all your labor shall a nation which you know not eat up, and you shall be only oppressed and crushed always. So that you shall be mad for the sight of your eyes, which you shall see. Oppression makes a wise man mad.
Now, when you have a brother that he's in oppression, and the one great thing that he has in his life is his wife and his kids, and then now you go in there and you touch that man's wife and you take his child and sell him away, that's the stuff that make a man just go crazy, just lose his mind, just want to kill and destroy and just cannot function when you touch a man's family like that. And this is what they did to us. Not only here, they did this to us in our land. 70 AD, when they came in there and destroyed us, they did that to us. All they left was the poor people.
Sit.
Go ahead.
Eat your own children because you stole them.
Verse 35. Yahweh shall smite you in the knees and in the legs with a sore botch that cannot be healed from the sole of your foot unto the top of your head. Yahweh shall bring you and your king, which you shall set over you, unto a nation which neither you nor your fathers have known. And there shall you serve other gods, wood and stone.
We knew Egypt, so we know that wasn't captivity. And what is the only nation in this earth that was not in this Bible of people being there, literally going there to trade? America is the only place. Everywhere else we knew Egypt, we knew all the countries in Africa, we knew Italy and Greece and Spain and Russia. We knew all those countries. You can go to Genesis chapter 10 and you can find it. Find America in Genesis chapter 10, the table of nations. You're not going to find it. It's not there. So this is the nation that's prophesied. Now America is all through this book, but it's in prophecies. Go ahead.
Verse 37. And you shall become an astonishment.
Did you read the woods and stone?
Wood and stone. Other gods, wood and stone. Verse 37. And you shall become an astonishment, a proverb and a byword among all nations, where Yahweh shall lead you.
Go ahead and elaborate on that proverb and a byword.
Well, it says you shall become an astonishment. So anytime you're astonished at something, it gains attention. But it says here a proverb and a byword A proverb, you know, has ambiguous meaning, but the byword has negative, simply almost like the word we went through during Bible study, imprecate, or last Shabbat. Imprecate is negative. It doesn't mean to implicate, so you can implicate somebody of good or bad. Because if you implicate, it's cursing.
Bad, right.
So a proverb is ambiguous, but a byword is negative. So these are, it says, so there's gonna be an astonishment, meaning you're gonna get attention for negative things, and you're gonna be known for negativity.
And you're going to be called by proverbs and bywords. You know, you porch monkey. You're going to be a byword. You African American. You Afro American. You will be creating all these new words for you.
Nigger.
That you don't even know. Basically. You know what I'm saying? They're going to come up with all these different things. All this is here. Point on us. They got every nation that you go to that has us. They got a word for us in some kind of language.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm done trying to like let it be mysterious what the Spain meant when they called the converted Jews Moranos. If you look at Moranos, they called them Morenos because they were dark. That word meant like brown or swarthy. But they kind of, you know, cover it over. But at this point, I've read it so much in literature and stuff like that, I'm done overlooking it. Those were the Moors. And they said the Moranos were converted Jews. That whole thing about the Spanish Inquisition, that was a massacre. That was another Holocaust of black people.
Black people that were keeping the Sabbath day, and they're saying you ain't keeping the Sabbath.
Catholics ain't want that.
Nah, you ain't with it.
1492, Isabella and her husband banned Judaism from Spain. And the byword and the proverb that came for these Jews was Moranos. Or the Moors. At this point, they just saw black people. They didn't want to see black people.
Right.
So these people were banished. And then because they were confederate with the Arabs that were in the South, these Arab traders, Askia Muhammad does the same exact thing in 1492 and bans Judaism. So it was only Islam. Islam was a major ruling religion in West Africa during that time. They wasn't trying to really deal. At one point, there were the cohabitation of both religions was allowed
because we were trading. We were on top trading.
Right. You know, but after a while, the enmity sprung up again. But that's the enemy was able to use it. So Islam became a channel for the persecution. So it just says the time come where people will kill you and give Allah praise for it. They give God praise for it.
Right.
They were glad to sell you. They were glad to make sure because they felt like they were doing Yah service by purging the infidel. Here, go with the Spaniards to the New World.
And you'll do it again.
Right, right. And you know, just even that whole black thing. You know, when you take somebody's nationality away from them, strip them, and make them a color, don't, it's like almost when you call, this is why it was disrespectful to call an Israelite a Christian. You gonna take away my nationality and call me a Cretan? Because that's where Christ, Christos, Cretan, all that is already, that's what you're gonna take me? Or you gonna say, I'm somebody that don't know who I am? I'm those lost Israelites that didn't know who they were? No, I know who I am. I know what tribe I'm from. It was disrespectful. And that's what they used to us. They called us all these type of colors. Now, when you go to Europe, you go to other countries, call them people white. See how they react to that. They don't like that. I ain't white. That's some people in America. They ain't got no culture. Call them white people. I am French. I am Italian.
I'm Scottish, Irish.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 37, you shall become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations where Yahweh shall lead you. You shall carry much seed out into the field and shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. And brother, this far into the curses, you know, you should be able to realize that something's wrong. Something's wrong. Nothing I put my hand to is prospering.
Right.
And why is that? Verse 38, and you shall gather but little in, for the locust shall consume it. You shall plant vineyards and dress them, but shall neither drink of the wine nor gather the grapes, for the worms shall eat them. You shall have olive trees throughout your coasts, but you shall not anoint yourself with the oil, for your olive shall cast his fruit. You shall beget sons and daughters, but you shall not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity. More and more frustration and more of you not being able to fulfill the desire of your heart. That is at the core of the happiness of humanity, the ability to fulfill the desire of your heart. Verse 42, All your trees and fruit of your land shall the locust consume. The stranger that is within you shall get up above you very high, and you shall come down very low.
And look at again. I don't have no problems with Mexicans. Never had any problems with them. But look how they come in the country. They come in the country poor, broke as ever. Before you know it, they done rose over us. They owning businesses. They staying out and they taking care of they know where they from. They take their money. If you work at a bank, all you gotta do is work at a bank. You work at a bank, you don't see these Mexicans coming here with these huge checks. Or one Mexican that speak good English, he cashing his $200,000 check because they done built the whole mall, you know, in like 15 minutes. And then come back and they cashing the check and they paying all their people. And then they getting together right down the street. You see a bunch of Mexicans, they done built a whole community for themselves. They bought some rundown property. They literally, 1 week they come put a brick. Next week they put another brick. Now look, they got a whole house. That's what they do. All these other nations, the Koreans, the Chinese, the Indians, they own the corner stores, the Arabs, all that. The Ethiopians coming here, they own all the parking. Or the Russians, everybody else can come in here and can do these things. Or are they smarter than us? No. Are they more talented than us? No. But what it is you're not going to get away. You're not going to do what they do and think you're going to get away with it, because you're going to have to keep these commandments to have any long-lasting blessing.
Mm-hmm. And brother, whenever something has spiritual implications, it means that there is an evil angel appointed over this set of people, or appointed to be a work against this set of people. So being that Yah said, look, there's going to be a curse, I mean, there's going to be a messenger to make sure to administer these curses.
Frustrate your cause. Be like, nah, I ain't going down.
So when they go and they do something, there's not a force, there's not a spiritual force trying to resist them or imprecate them because of it. But when it comes to us, these angels work in the hearts of others to make sure that our objective is being thwarted.
Exactly.
You understand? So when we had our Black Wall Street, the enemy provoked the minds of the adversaries, tribes of other people. White men came into Black Wall Street, destroyed the whole thing. Right. Many people were killed. Sometimes, and I think we even watched a documentary that the amount of men that actually died, amount of black men that actually died in that is obscure, but it's more than what is
exactly
for.
Exactly. And we constantly talk about this black consciousness, this Pan-Africanism. Let's all get together and we just gonna do this. Well, before white man was on the scene, we wasn't all together. We was fighting. It was just nations of melanin people fighting each other. So what makes you think it's gonna happen now? And then furthermore, we not the first people to come together and say, hey, we gonna stop spending our money with white people. We're going to spend it amongst each other. We're going to grow our own food. We're going to have our own communities. It's been done several times. And it prospered for a little while and then get blumped up. Because you're not going to escape this truth that Yah says. You're going to have to keep these commandments if you want to prosper in this life. You can prosper in wickedness. The devil bless too. He can bless you with a nice car, nice things, but you're going to die. And what you going to receive after that? We're going to stop this at verse 48. Go ahead.
Verse 44, he shall lend to you, and you shall not lend to him. He shall be the head, and you shall be the tail.
We ain't lending to nobody. Go ahead.
Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you, and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed, because you hearken not unto the voice of Yahweh your Elohim to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you.
There's an answer why these things are happening to you. We can save a whole lot of time sitting around trying to discuss let's just talk about what's going on to us. Why is this happening? It's all right there. Because you would not keep the commandments. Period. It's just that simple. So what's the solution? And the solution is just that simple.
Or just perish. Because even Yah manifesting these curses is like the last straw of mercy. Like, look, I'm actually giving you some room to continue so that you actually come to yourself and say, it's not worth it for me to go this direction in life, or you pretty much scorn the mercy of Yah, saying, man, he allowed me to still, even though as foolish as I am, he still allowed me to continue. But when the mercy runs out, then you just perish. And it's like, look, I can't, there's no more I could do for you. I even gave you warnings. I made it, I manifest negative outcomes for everything you did in full faith that you should gain what you did, with the fruit of your labor. And I removed that from you in hopes that you will come to yourself. So this is still manifesting his mercy, that he'll go to this extent instead of just be like, I don't got no time to be messing with you if you're not listening.
Right. I mean, it's literally like you driving down the street and it has a sign that says, in 1 mile, road ends, construction, cliff, you fall off and die.
Yeah.
You pass that, man, this sign. You pass that in half a mile. The road is going to end. You're going to fall off a cliff. There's construction, and we closed today. There's no hospital anywhere near. Nobody's going to help you. You're going to die.
Further down, you feel the rumble strip.
So this is what you do. You start, exactly. You start hitting the gas harder. Be like, I don't believe that, because my God wouldn't allow me to drive off a cliff. So now you on a cliff. You driving and you see the literal thing. You boom, 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 running through all the little blockades and everything. You be like, you know, because everybody keeps driving this way.
No.
So it must be something different. Then you fall off the cliff, like the movies. Car tumble 50 million times and blow up like a drone and blew it up or something. And then they reel in your eulogy. Who's gonna feel sorry for that person? Who's gonna be like, me, that wasn't fair? You did that to yourself. You killed yourself. Life insurance would be like, we're not paying that. That dude saw 15 signs, ran over. He tried to kill himself. Because that's what you literally do. You try to kill yourself. So not keeping these commandments is the same exact thing. You are trying to kill yourself. And you got all kind of speed bumps. My phone hung up. You got all kind of speed bumps, all kind of signs, all kind of warnings. People trying to stop you. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's what we do to ourselves. Go ahead and finish that to 48.
All right. Verse 46. Let me continue. Go back 45. 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon you and shall pursue you and overtake you till you be destroyed, because you hearken not unto the merciful voice of Yahweh your Elohim, to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded you. And they shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever, because you served not Yahweh your Elohim with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for the abundance of all things. Therefore shall you serve your enemies, which Yahweh shall send against you in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon your neck until he have destroyed you.
Now, show me one picture with a Native American running around with a yoke on his neck. Or show me a Korean or Chinese person with a yoke around his neck. But you Google yoke around your neck and you're going to see us with the yoke around our neck. We are the only ones that had to go through those type of things. So we're going to stop right here. We're going to break this class into 2 because I don't want to skip any of these different things. So that's all we're going to do today. Let's examine ourselves. If you take anything from this, the people who are the children of Yasharal are going to face these curses that we talked about if they don't keep the commandments. So ask yourself, if you're in question who you are, what group of people you know in this whole earth has gone through these things and is still going through these things to this day. So if that is true, and they were able to prophesy all these things thousands of years ago, before we were even on the scene, before America even existed, that means the remedy to this has to be true as well. So that's all we're going to do today. Any last questions or comments before we close in prayer? All right. Let's go ahead and end in prayer. All brothers remove their head coverings. And all sisters pray with their heads covered. And we're going to face east towards Jerusalem. Abba Father, Yahweh, Elohim, the Allah of Abraham, Yashak, and Yaakov. Covenant Father, Elohim of Yasharal, we thank you, Yah, once again for allowing us a means and a desire to gather on your set-apart day, your Shabbat, Yahweh. We thank you for the hedge of covering that you have given us throughout the week. We thank you for the traveling mercies. We thank you for allowing us to survive these pagan holidays, Yahweh, and still keep our spirit intact. We thank you for the wisdom and the guidance that you put in our lives, Yahweh, to show us right from wrong, and all the rebuke and all the anguish and tribulation that you put in our lives to lead us to this exact moment that we are here to this day, Yahweh. We ask that you increase our ability to shine this light, Yahweh, as your servants, as your workers and your witnesses. We ask that you strengthen our spirit, strengthen our soul to fight against this flesh, Yahweh, for we know the flesh does not want to do anything good. It wants to do that which satisfies itself. So we ask you that you strengthen us in that means and allow us to be a stronger spiritual people. Yahweh, we also ask that the viewers, Yahweh, those that are new, that are coming, that are new to this, that are seeing these things, Yahweh, we ask that they not be carried away by the false doctrine that's out here. We ask that you cover them and strengthen them, Yahweh, those that you have chosen to come towards Yahshua, that you make sure that there's a servant, that there's a place for them to fellowship, that there's a site or an email or a phone or something that they can reach out to get the answers that they need and the guidance, for we know that the adversary is a roaring lion, roaming around looking for whom he may devour. So we're thankful that you have provided somebody for us, a hand to reach down to us. And we ask that you also provide that for your children that are scattered across the four corners of the earth, and the stranger that wants to cleave onto your word through your children. Yeah, all these things we humbly come before you, and we thank you, pray through your holy, humble, anointed Son, Yahshua HaMashiach, in which all praise, majesty, might, and dominion resides here and forevermore. Through you, your majesty, in the name of Yahshua HaMashiach, we thank you and pray. Amen.
Amen. There's something I want to put here. This is it. Let's continue. It was the